Look, I'm still a big Pierre Poilievre fan, but there's one possibility that we need to explore, and that is that Doug Ford could very well be the next Prime Minister of Canada. I'm going to explore this for a couple of minutes, the pros and the cons. And then at the end, I'm going to give you the number one reason why this is a serious possibility. But before I jump in, can I ask you to do the usual thing? This is my 100th video. As a small creator, your likes, your subscribes, and your comments have kept me going. They really encourage me to continue making original content. Okay, Doug is a popular guy. He comes across as an everyday guy. He comes across as the kind of person you'd like to have as your neighbor. He's a steady hand on the wheel. He's good on the economy. When it comes to Donald Trump, he's outspoken. He's a refreshing change from Mark Carney's bland and underwhelming approach. Doug loves Canada, and it shows. Remember when he threatened to cut off electricity to the US? Classic Doug. Even when he commits gaffes that would end the career of any other politician, Doug just apologizes and the public accepts it. So for example, remember when he was talking about First Nations coming cap in hand to the government? That would have ended the career of most politicians. But Doug realized that he had done the wrong thing, he apologized, and the people accepted it, and we move on. So what could catapult Doug into the driver's seat? The first thing is, if Carney negotiates a bad trade deal, Canadians will not forgive him. It doesn't matter if, under the same circumstances, anyone else would have got the same deal. Carney has made it his brand that he is Mr. Elbows Up. He's the guy who was going to be tough on Donald Trump. Carney set expectations high, and if he doesn't get a great trade deal, he's in trouble. So if he doesn't deliver, the Conservatives get another chance. And Doug Ford has positioned himself as the new tough guy against Donald Trump. Here's something else that would play in Doug Ford's favor. If the NDP manages to rebuild their party. Right now, they are a wreck. They are a shadow of their former selves. But if they can claw their way back to getting 10 or 15% of the vote, their traditional base, then that would play entirely in Doug Ford's favor. But there's one other thing that needs to happen for Doug Ford to end up as PM. And that is for Pierre Poilievre to be out of the picture. Now, remember, I am a big Pierre Poilievre fan. But politics are fickle. And if the caucus decides that new leadership is needed, Doug Ford will be waiting in the wings to take over. Now, to be clear, this wouldn't necessarily be an easy ride for Doug Ford. His French language skills hover between rudimentary and non-existent. But maybe, just maybe, in Canada, French is no longer mandatory for a political leader. But you know what? Quebec shows no signs of ever voting Conservative. They split their votes between the Liberals and the Separatists. So maybe it's not needed anymore. Let me know what you think, because I could be wrong on this. So those are the pros and cons. But what is the number one reason why Doug Ford could be the next Prime Minister? And it's very simple. Doug Ford knows how to win elections. Whether it's charisma or whether it's his laid-back style, maybe it's the fact that he seems to have the pulse of the common man. Whatever the reason, Doug Ford knows how to win elections. To be exact, 3 back-to-back majority governments. The famous Bill Davis won 4 consecutive elections in Ontario, but 2 of those were minority governments. And those were back in the good old days when the Progressive Conservatives were in power in Ontario longer than the Communists had been in China. If given a chance and a couple good breaks, Doug Ford will kick Mark Carney to the curb. Well, that's what I think. What do you think? Leave a comment. Thanks.